Definitely. I mean, it was kind of a two-base attack. Terran really doesn't have too many workers. It's 39 workers off two-base versus 60 for three-base. Actually, pretty good ratio for the Zerg. And, I mean, he's going to have 68 now. So just, getting a bunch of workers with the larva inject. Zerg definitely in a very comfortable position. He doesn't necessarily have to attack since, like, it's Zerg. And if you're not being attacked, you can just expand, kind of get more stuff so that you can get, or I guess get more drones and more expansions so that when you actually do transition into units, it's just going to be like non-stop, like a faucet that isn't leaky but just on full blast.
Exactly. It looks like Terran's going to go out for another push here, but I'm not too sure this is going to do a lot of damage. He has a lot of hatcheries to produce out of. These roaches are just walking. I don't even know. They were right-clicked. He lost a lot of roaches, about 8 to 10 roaches without even attacking. That is always a bit. This is a very odd timing and push for Terran to keep the pressure on. Zerg's a little bit thin in units here. Let's take a look at the production tab. We do actually have 4 Mutalisks, 7 roaches out. Over time, Zerg's definitely going to be able to hold this off. And, I mean, the Protoss, or the Terran army, not too big, but he's going to be able to pick off a couple overlords eventually with the Thors. Those Marauders are getting a little bit ahead of themselves, and those Thors are just sitting back, slowly killing the overlord. Definitely not what they should be attacking, but nonetheless, looks like they're going to charge in here with a bunch of Marauders. Possibly can he lay out the expansion Marauders so quickly, or can so quickly lay out the hatcheries, but here he comes in. One queen going down. Will the hatchery fall? I think it will, but these Mutalisks going to come in. No anti-air because Mr. Thor is all the way back out of position, and the Thor gets taken out by the roaches, and Miss Micro for the loss by our player Mind, and he is in a terrible situation now, and the Zerg economy seems to be kicking in, and really probably going to give Zerg a great chance to move on and win this game.
Definitely. I mean, Terran units are quite effective, cost-effective, I should say. And he did kind of have the right idea in terms of getting Marauders for the Roaches and Thors for the Mutalisks, but just, I mean, not big enough numbers, and they're not really sticking together, which doesn't really help either.
Now you see Zerg just making a ton of units, cleaning up the last door that remains for Mine, and with that, a counterattack could be quite strong. Looks like our player Mine is choosing, hey, I'm going to try to expand, but with 4 more Marauders to support, good luck, buddy, because this is going to be a tough push coming his way. I don't really see Terran holding this off. He only has that one Thor. Looks like these Mutalisks are just going to wrap around and go aside, but what are we seeing here from the Zerg? Looks like he's at 71 drones. Looks like he is in production of more units here. Looks like they're going to come in and target that one Thor. He needs to repair that. And here come the Mutalisks. Nicely done by the Zerg, using the roaches to pick off the Thor. No anti-air. Now comes in with the Mutalisks, but there is another Thor. So temporarily, Mind doing a nice job defending, but definitely on his heels.
Yeah, Mind kind of, I guess, up against the wall, really. He's kind of Mind out in his main. And his also natural's going to be mined out as well. He's calling down a couple mules right there. But, the Zerg player just kind of taking over the entire side of his map, getting some additional expansions. He's not even putting drones on it. Not that he really, I guess, needs to at this point. And, all he's really got to do is just kind of keep making units and just almost rally it to the Terran's base and just win. I mean, although usually I would say it's kind of early to do that, but, I mean, come on. It's like 150 food versus 99 food. Kind of desperate, dire straits, really, for the Terran player here.
Oh, here come the Mutalisks to delay the third expansion even more. All those turrets are getting stopped, and again, the Thors, they're so good against Mutalisks, but the sad thing is they just can't keep up. The mobility of the Mutalisks is so much greater. It looks like Zerg's actually going to transition into the Infestation pick. Going to go ahead and get Neural Parasite with the Infestors here, which will make the battle for Terran even harder. But looks like finally the expansion does land. Orbital Command, more mules coming down, 4 turrets to be built, but Terran is definitely stretched pretty thin. There is definitely no chance of attacking here. He's desperately going to try to hold on, but holding on will not win him the game, but it's really at this point all he can choose to do.
Yeah, he's just between a rock and a hard place, or I guess in this case, between no expansion and Zerg, and that Zerg is pretty mad.
Yeah, he's in a terrible situation. You see 3 infestors, excuse me, in play. And here comes Zerg. Oh, your Thors are at your third. Here I'll come. just to harass your main. Going to be able to get nice hits on the depot, take out a few depots, and all this damage doesn't seem like much, but it definitely disrupts and delays. And now when these Mutalisks are forcing the Thors to go back to the main base, this third base for the Terran is quite susceptible if the Zerg chooses to attack there. Now he's going to wrap around with the Mutalisk and go back, just forcing turrets to be built everywhere. And this is why Mutalisk, although they are much weaker than they were in Brood War, their mobility is a lot better, though, considering especially when the Terran tries to go the mech route. Obviously, Marines with Stim, definitely the better option if you had to choose one. But here comes a serious push all the way through the top. Is he going to try to go through the rocks and kill this top expansion? But what that's going to do is allow his opponent to have a huge chance of counterattack. This army is getting a little bit out of position here. This is going to be dangerous. A ton of roaches coming in the front door. Say bye-bye to the natural expansion, Mr. Mind, because you are definitely going to lose it. Here goes the natural expansion, and now that third's very susceptible, but Terran is still just pushing up. The elimination race with this slow of an army, desperately trying to come up with something, but not going to work out too well for Mr. Mind.
Yeah, and actually the Infestors have narrow parasite. Unfortunately, all the Thors are not on this side of the map, but as you said, an elimination race with a bunch of Thors and Marauders, not the best bet. I mean, they're kind of hard to kill, but looks like the Zerg player can literally just sack all his bases and still come out on top. He's just so far ahead.
Looks like the push is going to come down. Terran actually doing quite a significant amount of damage. But if these armies were to fight each other, it would definitely go in the favor of Zerg, I feel. Finally, Zerg's going to move back saying, okay, this guy ain't mining. He is at the third, but I don't know if Zerg knows that. He's going to come back and try to defend his main mining ones. He does have that third that is now mining his natural, almost mined out. So they're going to be forced down to about 1 or 2 mining bases, which is actually kind of favoring in the favor of Terran. I don't think it'll be enough at this point, but definitely. And here come the Neural Parasite Infestors. Coming in. Will we see it? There we go. Yes, it is. And say goodbye to the Terran army. A counterattack will simply finish things up. GG before the counterattack. And Ether going up 2-1, going on to game 4.
Definitely. Pretty comprehensive victory right there.